Hi students, welcome to the virtual platform of Udainath Autonomous College of Science and Technology. So we are discussing the paper software engineering and we are in the requirement engineering process. So what do you mean by requirement engineering? The process in which we have to define what are the requirements of the user, that means what the user expect the functionalities and the service from the software, and what are the constraints. That process is known as requirement engineering process. So in our last video lecture we have discussed the type of requirement. There are functional requirement, non-functional requirement, and today we are going to discuss what is the requirement engineering process, what actually involved in the requirement engineering process, which are the activities there in the requirement engineering process. So let us have a look into requirement engineering process. So the process used for requirement engineering vary widely depending on the application domain, the people involved and the organization developing the requirements. So here we don't have any mandatory process for the requirement engineering. So we can follow any process. There are some like 4 activities. So we can follow them strictly or we can follow them interleavely. So that depend on for which domain we are developing the software, who are developing the software, and the organization who is responsible for developing the software. So these 3 things will decide which process is going to adapt. The person or the team who involved in the developing of the software, the organization who is responsible for developing the software, and the application domain for whom we are developing the software. That will decide which type of requirement engineering process we will follow. So if we will broadly classify, there are number of generic activities, like it is very common to all the requirement engineering process, that is requirement elicitation, requirement analysis, requirement validation, requirement management. So in practice, requirement engineering is an iterative activity in which these processes are interlinked. So we may follow different processes, different activities, but these 4 activities are common to all requirement engineering process. We will discuss it later. The first phase is requirement elicitation, then we will go for analyzing those requirements, then we will go for validating those requirements, and then we will go for managing the requirements which we got from the requirement validation. So here we have a spiral view of requirement engineering process. So first we will start from here. Actually we are developing the software for business purpose. So what are the business requirement specification here? So for that business requirement specification, we will go for the feasibility study. So feasibility study means what? Feasibility study means, is it economically and technically sound or not? What is the business specification there? What actually my customer expect from me? Then I will go for the feasibility study, that is I can fulfill those requirements. If I have some technique, or if these requirements, if I am going to fulfill this requirement, is that requirement is within in my budget. So that is the feasibility study. If it is technically and economically sound, then we will go for the user requirement elicitation. So here is the business requirement specification. That means we have to develop the software as per our application domain. So this is the application domain actually. Then we will go for the user requirement elicitation. That means who are the end users there and what are their requirement. So once I will got what actually my end user expect from this, then I will go for the second phase, that is user requirement specification. Here is the user requirement elicitation. That means I am gathering the requirement from my end user, and after gathering my requirement from the end user, then I will go for specifying them. This is the formal specification of the user. That's why its name is user requirement specification. So after getting the user requirement specification, then we will go for prototyping. So we already know that prototyping means a demo model. So here we will develop a demo model of user requirement specification. So after having the demo model, we will have to convert the user requirement into system requirement. So here in this phase, the system requirement illustration will be done. So that means we are here collecting or gathering the system requirements. How to collect the system requirements? We just need to convert these user requirement specification into system requirement illustration. So after getting the system requirement, we will have the system requirement specification and modeling. So like here we have the user requirement illustration, and what we got the document, that is user requirement specification. Like here the system requirement illustration, and we will got the system requirement specification and modeling, and after that we will give that document to the customer for the review purpose. Once the customer will accept this document, then we will have the system requirement document. So if we will divide this into 3 quadrants, so this is the requirement validation, and this is the requirement illustration, and this is the requirement specification. So once the requirement, all the requirement, it may be user requirement, it may be your system requirement, or it may be your business requirement specification, whatever it may be. In this quadrant, this will be illustrated, and in this quadrant, this will be specified. And once we got the specification, then we will give to the customer for the validation purpose. So this quadrant is known as the requirement validation process. So this is the spiral view of what is the requirement engineering process. So the requirement engineering process includes 4 different activities, that is requirement illustration, requirement analysis, requirement validation and requirement management. So here we are going to discuss the requirement illustration and analysis. So we are combining 2 first activities together. So sometimes called requirement illustration or requirement discovery. So what is it meant by? We are saying the requirement illustration as requirement discovery. That means we have to discover what is the actual requirement of my customer. That's why it's named as requirement discovery. What are the methods how we can discover the requirement, how we can get know what is the actual requirement of my customer. So we will discuss it later, what are the process of discovering the requirement. So that is known as requirement illustration, and it involves technical staffs working with customers to find out about the application domain. It is important because we are developing the software for this application domain. So it matters the service that the system should provide and the system's operational constraints. So these are the things that we should remember. So first we will give the priority to the application domain for which we are developing the software, what actually the system should do, that means what are the services the system should provide, and the system's operational constraint like the time constraint, the budget constraint and all that. And it may involve end users, managers, engineers involved in maintenance, domain experts, trade unions, etc. So these are called the stakeholders. In our last video lecture, we have already discussed who are the stakeholders in a main care system. So this is also important. We should know who are the stakeholders. So by looking at that, we can discover the requirements properly. So the stakeholders may include end users. Actually, we got the requirement, what are the actual requirement from the end user. The manager will collect the requirement from the end user. Then there are client engineers, they are responsible for converting the user requirement into system requirement. Then there are maintenance engineers who will maintain the system specification, that is in the requirement management phase. So these are the stakeholders who are responsible for illustrating what the requirement of my customer. So if we will go for the requirement illustration only, So software engineers work with a range of system stakeholders to find out about the application domain, the service that the system should provide, the required system performance, hardware constraint and other system. So it is mandatory for the software engineers to work with a range of stakeholders. So that's only then they can find out what is the requirement of my application domain. If I am developing the software for the banking sector or I am developing the software for the education sector, so that actually matters. Then the service that the system should provide, which is the functional requirement, and the required system performance, that is actually your non-functional requirement, like the system should be dependable, the system should be reliable, the system should secure, the system should safe, and what are the hardware constraint, like which type of operating system we need, how many memory byte we need to consume and all that. So the requirement illustration stage include requirement discovery, requirement classification and organization, requirement prioritization and negotiation, and requirement specification. So the illustration phase itself has 4 phases. First, we have to discover what is the requirement. Once we got a bunch of requirement from the customer, then we need to classify them and organize them. Like suppose I am having the requirement, like we have already taken this example, like admission and lesson plan. Both are different. So in case of admission, we need to put there like examination fees, form filler, what are the courses available there. But in case of lesson plan, there we have to put what are the subjects, who are the teachers, which are the timetable and all that. So here, when we will ask the customer to give his requirement, he will give the requirement in a bunch. There is the examination fee, there is the course, what are the courses there available, and who are the teachers, what is the subject there and all that. So we need to organize them, we have to divide them, classify them, which are coming in which category. That is what in the second phase, that is requirement classification and organization. So once we will classify them and organize them, that means we are forming some subsystems, we are taking some components and forming some subsystem. Then we need to prioritize them. Which subsystem we will go for the first, which subsystem we will develop first, and after deploying that subsystem, which subsystem we will develop second. So that is the prioritization. So we need to prioritize each and every subsystem, and after prioritization, then we need to specify them. What is the user requirement for a particular subsystem? How to convert that user requirement into system requirement? That is the procedure. So these are the 4 procedures that is involved in the illustration phase. So let us see what are the problems of requirement illustration. So first problem is stakeholders don't know what they really want. So as end user, they are not technically sound, so they actually don't know what they really want. And if they know what actually their need, they can express their requirements in their own terms, and we cannot develop a software by looking at the user requirement. That is why we need to convert the user requirement into system requirement. And different stakeholders may have conflicting requirements. For example, suppose we have a grading system where we can put the student's mark, and that software will calculate the CGPA or the percentage. So we first know what actually my user wants. My user wants his percentage or his CGPA. So that is what actually, for that system there may be set of end users, and if each and individual end user, they will ask us, one of them is asking for CGPA and another is asking for percentage. So this is very difficult for a software developer to develop a software. So if the stakeholders have the conflicting requirements, so this is a problem for the software developer to developing that software. Next, the organizational and political factors may influence the system requirements. So this is saying that suppose I am giving the first priority to the third subsystem, then after 5 days someone asked me to change the priorities of the subsystem, then it will very difficult, because having a first priority of third subsystem, I am just developing the third subsystem, and after 5 days if my user asks me to change the prioritization, then it is very difficult, because I am developing the subsystem number 3. If he is asking me to develop the subsystem 1, then I have to left the subsystem 3 and I have to start the subsystem 1. So, this is also very difficult. So, it is a problem. The next one is the requirements change during the analysis process. So, new stakeholders may emerge and the business environment may change. So, here is the requirement elicitation and analysis process. First, we need to requirement discovery. So, once we got what are the requirements, then we need to classify them and we need to organize them. Then after classifying and organize them into different subsystems, then we have to prioritize them. And negotiation means what? Suppose I am taking any application software like WhatsApp. Suppose I want to develop an application software like WhatsApp, but I need there only chat box. So, when I will go and I will ask the developer to make a chat box there, then he can convince me that you just put a video call there, because I know that after 1 year you may demanding that a video call or audio call should be there. So, the application developer, I am the user, the application developer is convincing me that you should put a video call or audio call there, because we have already discussed on the change anticipation. So, what will be the change after 1 year or 2 years? The application developer should guess that, and he should accommodate those changes now. What will be the changes when my user wants some changes after 1 year or 2 years? Before he is coming to me and asking me, these are my changes and you need to accommodate that, I should properly accommodate that requirement now. So, that is the negotiation. So, after prioritization and negotiation, then what we will get, that is the requirement specification. So, after getting the requirement specification, we will go for the design, or after validating the requirement specification, if there is some omission, then we will go for the requirement discovery. So, in our next class, we will go for the fast process activities, that is requirement discovery. What are the techniques are there, how to discover the requirements from the end user. Have a great time. Thank you.